I think you can call me the diplomat now because I did it. I have bought the diplomat from Dubey and Schaldenbrand. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's the link to the video, Dubey and Schaldenbrand Diplomatic. And I've bought the watch. I was really in doubt, but I then later on I wanted it so bad, and so I made an offer to the owner, and the owner then said, "Oh, I don't know anymore if this is a good idea. Maybe I should keep the watch, and please give me some more time to reconsider." And I thought, no. And then he wanted to the entire weekend to clear his mind, and then luckily 1 hour later he wrote me an email and said, "Okay, you can buy it." And I But now let's go to the topic. I have another Dubey and Schaldenbrand here. This was the deal with the owner of this watch, that I present his watches. He borrowed me those watches, and they are for sale. So this watch is also for sale. If you're interested, please send me your email address and I will pass it to the owner. But this Dubey inspired me to make a video not only about the watch, but all about the alarm function in general, because there are fascinating timepieces with alarms out there, and it's a very beautiful complication. It's cheerful in a way. Every time I sit at the office with an alarm watch and it goes off, then everybody is alerted. Hey, what Tim, you have a new toy? Show me this, please. Show me this. Sounds cheerful in a way. Yeah. And I will talk about the Sonnerie and about 2 other alarm watches I'm a little bit familiar with, and so maybe there you can hear some interesting information about those watches. But first, let's clarify one thing. An alarm watch is not necessarily a watch to wake you up. Okay, this may work. Maybe if you have a lighter sleep, then it's loud enough maybe. But the main function is to give you a memo during your day. For example, if you feel the vibration, and often the vibration is more important than the sound, then it's maybe 3 o'clock and you have to pick up the laundry or the kids or so. You find it in the word Memovox. Jaeger-LeCoultre Memovox, there you have it. It's in the name, the memo. This is a good looking watch here. Okay, let's speak about the Sonnerie now. The Sonnerie is an automatic watch with the date, GMT function, so it's second time zone, and an alarm function. So it's a really packed watch, and with a very distinctive case form. You see this very 30s and 40s. Is this a cushion form? I'm not sure how to call this form. The case is stainless steel, and on the dial you can find those elements from the Art Deco era. By the way, I've made a funny mistake in the last video. I said animal dial. Here you find with this watch has a nice animal dial, and the viewer wrote me and he said nice video, but there are no animals on that dial. And yeah, I think the correct term is enamel. But this isn't an enamel dial. This is some sort of varnish which makes the same surface, but it's not enamel. And it's a big watch. The case width is 38 millimeters. The length is 50, so you need a big wrist for that watch. And the height is 15. It's more comfortable than it seems, because look at the case form. It's rounded, and so it will go with a wrist bigger than 18 centimeter, I would say. The crystal is sapphire, scratch resistant, and you have a nice exhibition case back. There you have the modified ETA movement. I think this is an ETA. I'm not so sure. On their website they don't say this. Okay, and in theory it's watertight down to 30 meters, but as I said, in theory. So if you're interested, then send me an email. And now let's talk about the next watch, which is Jaeger-LeCoultre Memovox. One of my first luxury timepieces was a Jaeger-LeCoultre Memovox from the 50s, hand winding model, 35 millimeters. Back then I sold it to a gentleman in the United Kingdom for a very good price, I must say. It wasn't so bad, that deal. And later on I bought 3. I think in total I've owned 4. And what I really love here is the classic design of the dial. Very puristic, very 50s. Reminds me every time I see this of vintage cars, the tachymeter scale in vintage cars. So very beautiful watch. And the problem is, in the Memovox market, you have those cycles. In some years, they are super popular and everybody wants them, and then you have prices to 4,000 euros for a Memovox. And in other years, they are rather soft. And I think now, I'm talking March 2019, I think now we see a very soft Memovox market. So if you spot a Memovox in good condition, maybe it's a good buy now. I have no Memovox for sale, by the way, so I'm giving you this information without a deal in my mind. And interesting is that they are more robust than we think. Maybe many people think, oh, 50s, 60s, Jaeger-LeCoultre, this is you have to baby that watch. And surprisingly, this is not the case. They are very robust. And my watchmaker repaired once a Memovox. There was something broken with the alarm, and he fixed it. He could fix that, and he said, yeah, it's not super easy, but it's not daily bread, but it wasn't a problem at the end. So I assume that independent watchmaker can fix, repair, and service those watches. And I think this is a good information, because for a service at Jaeger-LeCoultre for a Memovox is super expensive. I had once with a 18 karat gold bezel, and the service price was 1,500 euros. Gentlemen, those are 1,700 US dollars. I think this is a little bit exaggerated in my eyes. But there is a huge problem with fake and refurbished dial. I've made an entire video about that problem, link over here, because I own four Memovox, and 2 of them had issues with the dial. And yeah, and sometimes this is really hard to spot. And if sometimes it's an index, a little bit crooked or a little bit out of place, and we're talking here about the fraction of a millimeter. So if you're going to buy a Memovox, then check the dial, check the damn dial. Everything has to be perfect, because the quality control back then at Jaeger-LeCoultre was perfect as well. And so the slightest flaw on the dial is the end. Then you have a refurbished dial, and it will affect the worth of the watch badly, of course. And if you want to resell it, then you have to state this. Otherwise, you're a crook. You are a crook. And the next alarm watch I want to show you is this Oris. In the 90s, they produced a line of alarm watches and in different variations, small timepieces. And there was a chrome-plated version, so I'm not so in chrome-plated. This gold-plated version, and a wonderful version with an 18 karat gold bezel. Wonderful watch. And they are great watches for women. Actually, I've given this watch to my girlfriend, and women and watches. This is an entire topic for itself. First, the crystal is broken because the watch fell on the floor. And then one day it stopped, and I brought it to the watchmaker, and he opened it and he said, what a damage, this watch needs a service. Now I have to pay for the service. But they are great watches for women, as I said. I've sold one to Switzerland, this was interesting, to a lady high official of a Swiss railroad company. And I have a strange obsession, strange fetish. Every time I sell a watch to a woman, then I have to Google her and I have to see if she's attractive. It's a little bit crazy, but I think it's satisfying for me to add a piece of beauty to a beautiful, beautiful lady. And once I've sold a Jaeger-LeCoultre Futurematic, fascinating watch to a very sweet lady. Wow, and her name was Emmanuelle. Oh. I was really crushed. By the way, my girlfriend is not at home, so I'm not in danger to be ambushed here. Sometimes you can find those Oris models on eBay for about 250 euros, which is a great price for that watch in my eyes. Okay, that's all about the alarm function. If you want to see more of my watches or other topics I find interesting, then please visit me on Instagram, caseback_Tim. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and maybe until next time. Okay, let's do this another time, because YouTube really loves videos longer than 10 minutes, and so let's do it again. Another alarm for YouTube, and here it is.